Greetings everybody, welcome to another edition of Media Bites. This is Placone, your host, and today we're going to be talking about the Navy Yard shooting. As many of you are probably already aware, several large media outlets misreported the actual shooter. NBC and CBS, they both reported the shooter as Rolly Chance, and that was the wrong shooter. That was not the shooter, but there was an ID card found by the suspect's body that was Rolly Chance, and they reported it as such. Now, this is not the first time this has happened, especially in recent history. This also happened at the Sandy Hook shooting, where they reported a family member who was then threatened on Facebook, and it took a while for a lot of the misinformation to be corrected. And of course, this is very dangerous. Now, before we go further, I understand that, sometimes in the event of a terrible occurrence or catastrophe, sometimes you're just really trying to figure out what's going on, and things will get misreported. I certainly understand that. The media is made of people, and people are flawed. I mean, I've made mistakes in my show before. I've misspoke at times. It happens, and it will happen many times. It's life. But the reason I bring this up is because there's such a strong emphasis on being first for the sake of ratings that too often speed trumps accuracy. And this has been an issue for a very long time, especially when the cable news networks first started back in '96, where it was such a hunt for ratings. It was such a hunt to be the number one name in news that often speed was first and accuracy was second. And you saw a lot of misreporting as a result of this. And now I feel that it's gotten even worse because the media is competing with the blogosphere. So they're competing virtually with everybody in the world that has a Twitter account or a Facebook or a blog or has some way to post information, has some way to take a video on their phone or what have you, and then post it publicly. And I feel like maybe that's the wrong way to look at it. Maybe instead of looking at it as competition, kind of embrace it and go along with it. Be willing to go to Twitter to help find out what's going on. Realize that, you're just one outlet perceiving an event just like everybody else is. And, if you do your own investigation, and if you go by what other people are posting, maybe if they were at a particular event, maybe if they were near the shooting when it happened, then we can kind of piece this together and get the story out there. But instead, there was just such a heavy emphasis on being first because speed comes first, because speed is better for profit than accuracy, that you see misreporting happen. And this is a problem. I mean, in the case of Sandy Hook, for instance, I mean, that kid was getting threats. He could have been... What if someone would have done something to him and he wasn't the guilty party? So, this is a prime example of that, what just happened here in D.C. And, I think that in a lot of cases in events like this, you're going to see more and more misreporting. Because I think they're so focused on speed, the corporate media is so focused on speed, and, you're competing against the entire blogosphere, which is an entity you, quite frankly, cannot compete with. So, they reported a wrong name. It's not a huge deal. It's just worth mentioning, in my case. Well, it is a huge deal, but it's also worth mentioning because I think we're going to see more and more of it. They did retract their statements. They did correct it pretty quickly. But, it's out there, and it happened, and I think it's going to be commonplace to see stuff like this happen, I think. To the point where you're not even going to be able to take it on the surface at first. You're really going to have to wait. And, why not wait a little bit and have something more accurate come out than have to wait longer because misinformation will be spread and then corrected. But I guess we'll see what happens. So thanks for tuning in. This was a special edition of Media Bites, and this is Placone signing out.